Friday. We got an 11-game main slate to talk about in this video. Welcome, guys. My name is DK. Be breaking down, again, the 11-game NBA DFS slate. I also cover content for Prize Picks, Underdog, Parlay Play, player prop stuff. The sponsor would be Parlay Play. If you guys are not on it or you're not familiar with it, it's a player prop site. You're building out slips of player props. All the sports that they offer are up here. You can win up to 155x your money. So if you do want to give it a try, you can click that link down below. If you do click the link and deposit, it does help support the channel. And yeah, if you're prop betting, my advice is, again, in many of these sites as possible, you can take advantage of like discounts. Like, for example, Nikola Jokic, I got a nice discount on him tonight. So if you guys are interested, again, click that link, deposit. Again, it does help support the channel. And yeah, if you're looking for more content, you can always check out my Patreon link down below. As far as tonight goes, well, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it was an early night for me. Right to Chipotle. Right to go get myself a burrito bowl. If you know, you know. Basically, I played for the blowout in the first game. I thought the game was could go 50-50. I was either like, all right, you either go heavy on this game, get a lot of exposure because there's a lot of guys underpriced, or you go a bit underweight and hope the game blows out. I went for the blowout. I went for the blowout factor. It didn't happen. I also played Blake Wesley, who had 2 fancy points. I was like, all right, you know what? Let me go get myself a burrito bowl. And then also sent me to the Showdown lobby. Got my Showdown lineup in. You know what? I'm just going to get this video up early. No need to watch this game. It's over for me. So, yeah, as far as last night goes, it went really well. So I had 2 lineups, actually. This one was originally my high-stakes lineup. Then I swapped it to this one. And, of course, the one I swapped to didn't do as good. Both lineups are still good. I was just heavy on the Pistons in both. I had Cade, Duren, Bogdanovic in this one. I had Cade, Bogdanovic, Ivy, Clarkson in this one. So I was heavy on that second game. I was also very high demand quickly for tournaments. He smashed. So it was a good night overall. Last night, tonight, not so much. Maybe we can salvage it with the Showdown slate. But yeah, let's just get right into it. Let's not waste any more time. So start off with Utah and Boston. On the Utah side, you got Lauri Markkanen at 8K. Well, the minutes have not been amazing on him in competitive games. He played 38 minutes last game, but that was overtime, 33 in regulation. Definitely some blowout risk here. I mean, he's playable in tournaments, as is Clarkson, who played, 33 in regulation as well. Those 2 are fine. GPP plays, obviously, a good amount of blowout risk here playing on the road. I don't really know if I get to anyone else, because I'm not really confident in this Jazz rotation. Sexton played 25 minutes in regulation. Minutes been a little bit up and down at Kessler. You got Fettuccine Alfredo, who's actually been playing pretty well. Not sure I buy this, but he's been pretty consistent of late. Yeah, it's just a tough team to get to, in my personal opinion. Let's talk about Boston. Boston got Al Horford questionable. Other than that, everyone else seems good to go. I've interested in all the main guys, but no one stands out to me. Again, I like the matchup, but obviously, like I said, a little bit of blowout risk. So if you wanted to target any of the main guys, I think that's fine. I think my favorite probably would be Ingis or Tatum at their respective price points. Horford's out. You probably get a little more run for guys like Hauser, Pritchard, maybe one of those backup bigs, but there's not a lot that stands out to me in this first game. Atlanta and Indiana. Well, this is a game that should be played at a very fast pace. No Deion Hunter still. Yeah, I have more interest in this game. I think Trae Young at 10.1K makes a pretty good spend up. In a competitive game, I would expect, high 30s minutes from him. DeJounte Murray is 7.7K. I think he's a totally reasonable play in the mid-range. I'm going for 35 to 40 fantasy points tonight. Jalen Johnson, I really like. The Faders got bailed out last game. He should have had way more than 50 fantasy points. As long as he avoids foul trouble, I think he plays high 30s minutes. So I really like Jalen Johnson. Once again, he will be popular. Clint Capella, 6.7K. Feels priced about right. You have Bogdanovic at 6'1". That should see, high 20s minutes. Reasonable. Deke Bay is 5.9. He'll play big minutes as well. I think he's a fine filler play. Not a guy with a massive ceiling, but if one of these guys gets in foul trouble, for example, if Jalen Johnson gets in foul trouble again, it's usually Saddiq Bey that benefits there. Okongwu is 5'1". He should see low 20s minutes. I think he's a fair play, but I'm not going to mess with anything else on this team. Now, on the Pacer side, you got Bruce Brown and Nembhard questionable. Bruce Brown played last game. Nembhard did not. I assume Bruce Brown is in. Nembhard, I think, is more 50. You got Halliburton at the top of 10, too. I like him again. I was high on him last night. He's my preferred spend up, and he smashed. And I like him again here against Atlanta. I like Halliburton quite a bit. Miles Turner, 6.8K. He's viable in tournaments. The minutes have been, hovering in the 25 to 30-minute range. And then you got a lot of the wings that, if Bruce Brown and Nembhard are both out, these guys look better. If they're both in, it's kind of hard to prioritize any of these guys. We'll say if Nembhard is out, McConnell does become playable as a value option. He probably sees high teens minutes. He'll back up Halliburton and then play a little bit alongside him. And we know McConnell is usually a pretty good point per minute player. Oklahoma City and Brooklyn, you got SGA, 10.4K. I think is always in play. I don't love the spot for him. I think I prefer like guys like Trey and Halliburton in that game we just talked about. But I'm never going to say no to Shea. He has a massive ceiling. Shot at 7'6", Jalen Williams at 7'2", Giddey at 5'9", all playable. Giddey's been a little bit up and down. He had the one big game, of course, when he was massive chalk, and kind of came back down to earth. It's just the minutes have not been amazing on him, even in competitive games. That is a little bit worrisome. I don't really know if I can stomach taking shots at any of these value plays in 11 games. I just don't think it's worth it. On the Brooklyn side, this is a team that, it's just been pissing me off. Like, bro, it's just such a boring team. It's not like the most boring team in the NBA. You tell me. I don't know. Mikal Bridges, 7.1K. He's the guy with the highest ceiling. Production's been up and down on him, but usually plays the most minutes. Minutes on Claxton have been, a little bit inconsistent. When he does get consistent run, he can get there, but against over 7K, don't love that. Keep an eye on Dennis Smith Jr., but he's probable. He's expected to play. I would say if he's out, you could look at Spencer Dinwiddie. Cam Thomas is going to chuck when he's out there. He hasn't hit a shot in like 3. Day'Ron Sharpe will play the backup 5, but he's 5K. Got the boring 3-and-D guys and Royce O'Neal and Dorian Smith. It's just the same thing every time with this team. It's just nothing ever stands out to me. New York and Philadelphia. Randall, Brunson, they're both seem priced about right. I would say OG at 6'2", I think is solid. He was massive chalk last slate. Kind of had a subpar game, but yeah, he should play big minutes. I'm expecting mid-30s minutes from OG. Solid option there. Hartenstein, again, this guy's been pissing me off. As I said, whenever I fade this guy, he absolutely smashes if I play him or take overs on props. He gets in massive foul trouble. It's just really been tilting me. Again, of course, did not play him last couple slates. 34 and then 47 fantasy points. He's not a bad point per guy, and he's going to play big minutes if he avoids foul trouble. Look who's going up against the opposite side, Joel Embiid, right? So you have to factor that in. There's definitely some foul trouble risk here. Even Chenzo to Hart, both reasonable. If you think Hartenstein gets in foul trouble, you can take a shot on a guy like Precious Achiuwa. Again, has not been playing decent, not been playing good minutes, to be honest. But if Hartenstein gets in foul trouble, it's got to be Achiuwa that comes in. Philadelphia, Embiid 11-5 has just been smashing. He looks amazing. I don't care who he's playing right now. This guy is on another level. Triple-double last game in a massive blowout. That also really tilts me. He got 3 quick ones the first half. I faded him that day at high ownership. Stays in the game, man. Better believe if I had Joel Embiid there, he's right to the bench, maybe even the locker room, right? And then he picks up number 4 in the third quarter. I'm thinking, just pull him. No way. Stays in the game again. Like, what are we doing, man? That ever happens to immediately go into the bench, right? So annoying. Rest of Philly, Maxey and Tobias Harris find tournament plays. I will say Oubre I think is interesting without D'Anthony Melton. He had a really good first half, kind of quiet third quarter there, but he was on pace to play 30-plus minutes. I think Oubre is interesting here, 5.8. I don't know if I get to anyone else. 3-and-D wings. Pat Bev didn't play a ton. Paul Reed, there's no way I can pay that price point for him. Washington and Cleveland, pretty boring team to talk about here too. All the main guys are playable as contrarian plays. No standouts here though to me. Kuzma 7'8", Denny 6'1", Poole 6K, Gafford 5'9", Tyus 5'8". All fine options. I will say, competitive games, these guys have been playing a little bit more consistent minutes of late. Like they probably, if this game stays close, I would expect like low 30s minutes for all those guys. I think the ceiling's the highest on Kuzma. We've seen a couple of big games from Poole, but he's been very consistent. We've seen a couple of big games from Tyus Jones. He's been inconsistent though, so it's like, guys are all playable. I'm not touching the bench on Washington. On the Cleveland side, so this team's going to be popular once again. Mitchell and Allen were massive chalk last slate. I think they're going to be very popular again tomorrow. Mitchell, 9-5, great spot. Was on pace for a big game last game. Only played 24 minutes because that's all he needed to play. The game, massive blowout. Jarrett Allen, they're just a completely different player right now. They're running offense through him. He's literally just turned into Nikola Jokic. 17, 19, and 7. They're running a ton of offense through him. His numbers are way up. I think if this game's competitive, he's going to play 35 or so minutes. So, Jarrett Allen looks good. The only thing I will say is he's going to be very popular. I think you can find pivots in that range. Strus, LeVert, Okoro, all playable. I think my favorite here would be LeVert, factoring in his eligibility. I think in a competitive game, he plays close to 30 minutes. And Merrill, so fine. He's playable in tournaments. Well, he's definitely going to be over-owned. Listen, man, this guy's cost me infinite money. When I fade him at chalk, at high ownership, he can't miss. When I play him, he gets injured and can't get the broadside of a barn. It's really been pissed. But yes, he's playable. This one will come down to ownership. If he's going to be popular in an 11-game slate tomorrow, I'm going to fade. If I fade and he shoots 100% in 15 minutes, then I'm going to be extremely upset in the next video. Simple as that. Charlotte and Chicago. So Charlotte still got a lot of guys out. No LaMelo, Hayward, and Mark Williams. Popping guys, well, I mean, they're playing big minutes, right, in competitive games. So I have interest in Rozier for tournaments. Reasonable price point. I have interest in Miles Bridges at 7.9. Again, he's playing close to 40 minutes a night. Brandon Miller at 6.5. I think I would just rather get to Bridges or Rozier. I like the ceiling way more than those guys. Nick Richards got in some massive foul trouble last game, but usually he's going to play around 30 minutes. I think he's okay. PJ Washington will play the backup 5. He's reasonable. So these main guys are interesting. You know, if I get to anyone else, I mean, maybe a little bit interesting. A guy like Cody Martin, 33 minutes last game. Does have nice eligibility. Looks like he's no longer on it. Chicago seems hard to talk about. You got Vooch and Levine, both questionable. Patrick Williams is probable. If Vooch and Levine are both in, I mean, there's just no, I don't think I can get to anyone. I would assume that there would somewhat limit Levine and Vooch. If we get word that they're in and not on a limit, then I think you can have interest in Levine and Vooch as the price points. But they've both been out for a while, so I assume they're going to somewhat take it easy on their minutes. So, yeah, if they're both in, nothing really here. If they're both out, then you can look to guys like Rosen, Drummond, Kobe White, the main guys we've been targeting here for the Bulls with those two out. All right, Clippers and Pelicans, pretty boring team to talk about here for the Clippers. You know what I'm going to say. Paul George, Kawhi, Harden, all playable in tournaments. Team's fully healthy. It's really hard for me to prioritize anyone, especially on a big slate. Bosh has ceiling games, but a little bit less likely when they're fully healthy. Powell's playable for value, probably sees 25 or so minutes. I guess Norm Powell would probably be my favorite play here on the Clippers, but about it. Now for the Pelicans, Trey Murphy once again questionable. He misses. Few extra minutes, I think, for Herb Jones. Few extra minutes for Najee Marshall, Daniels, maybe Alvarado, but no one directly benefits of Trey being out. Popping guys, Ingram, Zion, and CJ, all reasonable options. No real strong takes there. Jonas Valanciunas, the minutes have not been amazing on him with Larry Nance back. It's kind of hard for me to get to JV, even with the price decreasing. Nance himself at 4.3K, I think is reasonable. 20-plus minutes the last 4 games, 20-plus fantasy points in all those games. So I think he is an interesting value play. Minnesota and Houston, not a ton stands out to me here either. I think Ant is fine as a contrarian spend up. Like the ceiling on him. Karl-Anthony Towns, 7.2K. That's a pretty cheap price point for Cat, right? I know he's dealt with some foul trouble of late and hasn't really been playing the best, but usually Cat's like a, I don't know, low 8K, mid 8K guy, and now he's 7.2K. So this is getting to the point where, like, all right, I think Karl-Anthony Towns is definitely underpriced. I think he does stand out. I would prefer him to Rudy Gobert at a similar price point. I like the ceiling more on Cat. I think I can get to Dusty Conley. My boy Naz Reid, we know his role, backing up both Gobert and Cat. Yeah, McDaniels at 4.6, I think is a fair value play. He stays out of foul trouble, should play 30-plus minutes. Slow-mo, 4.1K. Minutes have been ticking down on him, so I'll have to prioritize that. For Houston, hoping Tari Eason can play, so I don't know what to deal with. I don't know, Jabari Smith again. So tilting. My boy Şengün, you know what I'm going to say. I mean, I always have interest in Şengün, and he's been playing extremely well. The guy's so good. 8.6K, totally reasonable price point for him. Van Fleet, 7.9K. Also going to play big minutes. I prefer Şengün to Van Fleet, but Van Fleet definitely viable. If Tari Eason is out, then we can start considering guys like Tate and Jabari Smith, unfortunately. And Jabari Smith normally sees big minutes without Tari Eason. Didn't only play 32 minutes last game. Do much. Jayshawn Tate also has been starting and playing good minutes, and he's been pretty quiet as well. But those two would benefit if there's no Tari Eason. Tari Eason's in. They're probably going to stay away from the rest of the Portland and Dallas. So DeAndre Ayton is out. Moses Brown is out. And Jabari Walker is doubtful. This team. So the only two bigs on this roster are Duop Reith and Ibu Baji. Well, Ibu Baji fouled out in 15 minutes last game, and Duop Reith got ejected. So, I mean, honestly, the two bigs are both good plays in my opinion. They don't have anyone else. I mean, they can go small ball, I guess, like Kamara at the 5, right? I mean, who else? Jabari Walker is usually the small ball 5. I guess they could try to play Jeremy Grant at the 5. But yeah, I mean, I think you're going to get somewhat decent minutes for both these centers. 4K for Duop Reith, 3.6K for Ibu Baji. Still can't. I mean, I still don't even think this is a real person, Ibu. But I mean, we have to consider these guys. We have to. So yeah, whoever starts the 5 thinks be a solid play. I do think Duop Reith does play more than Baji, depending, or whether or not whoever starts, I think plays more. As far as everyone else goes in this team, I mean, they limited Simons, limited Sharp. I think the only guy I would have some interest in, if assuming no limitations, would be Anthony Simons. But if he's limited again, I mean, this team's almost a stay away outside of the bigs. Now for Dallas, you got Exum and Lively both on the injury report. Exum is doubtful. Lively is questionable. If Lively's out, I think they could go small ball with like Derrick Jones Jr., Grant Williams at 5, or they throw like a Powell / Rashawn Holmes in there. So we'll keep an eye on that. As far as the top end guys go, I mean, I like the matchup here, obviously, for Luka and Kyrie, but there's a lot of blowout risk. I think if Lively's out, we can consider whoever starts the 5. But like I said, they can go a lot of different ways. They can go small. They can throw Powell in there. They can throw Holmes in there. So we'll just keep an eye on the news with Dallas. Orlando and Denver, I feel like everyone just got injured for the Magic last night. Franz is out. Markelle Fultz is still out. No Gary Harris. No Jonathan Isaac. No Joe Ingles. We got to keep an eye on Wendell Carter Jr. Cole Anthony is back. I'm trying to think through what the starting lineup is going to be. So it's going to be, we're going to see Suggs, obviously. We're going to see Banchero. I think we're going to see Anthony Black. So I think they go Black, Suggs, the backcourt with Banchero and Goga. But who's the 5th starter? Are they going to go like Caleb Houston or like Chuma Okeke? I don't know who their 5th starter is going to be. I don't think they start Cole Anthony. I want to bring him off the bench. Because I'm like, I don't know who they're going to start as the 5th starter. But yeah, a lot of blowout risk here. Obviously playing on the road in Denver. Banchero, price point up, and no Franz Wagner. He's the clear go-to guy. Definitely viable in tournaments. Suggs, also don't love the price point, but play big minutes if the competitive. Center rotation, if there's no Wendell Carter Jr., I think Mo Wagner, and Goga Bitadze, they're both interesting plays. Would expect them to split the full 8. Caleb Houston's so bad. 4.8K. I guess if he starts, you can consider him. Okeke 4-5. I'd actually rather have Okeke start. He's the better point per minute guy of the 2. We'll keep an eye on the starting lineup for the Magic. I can't believe we're considering Caleb Houston. Anthony Black is 4-7. Just makes me want to throw up. Oof. I mean, you got Admiral Schofield, Jet Howard. Oof, it's disgusting. Disgusting stuff. Literally, just ate my Chipotle, and now I feel sick talking about it. All right, Denver. Reggie Jackson, probably, again, they're about to play tonight. We'll see if anything happens in the game tonight, but same old. Jokic, Jamal Murray, like them both at the top. I don't think Murray's on much of a limit anymore. Nothing else really stands out unless anyone sets out for Denver. And finally, Miami and Phoenix. Jimmy Butler is out. Caleb Martin is once again doubtful. Miami ran an 8-man rotation last game. Nope. Top end guys, you got Bam at 8.9K. He should play big minutes. Tyler Hero at 8.1. Why did he only play 28 minutes last game? Does anyone know? Like, I don't think he was in foul trouble. I don't know, because I was sweating that. Obviously, I hit my 25X last night. I was sweating Jaime Jaquez. So, like, I didn't, or when I sweat, I don't like to watch games or keep track. I was doing other stuff. So I wasn't watching the game or kind of keeping track of what happened. But why did Tyler Hero I know the game blew out at the very end, but 28 is low. Now, my boy Jaime Jaquez has been playing extremely well. I think he's pretty safe. He's going to see huge minutes right now. He's got nice eligibility. You got Kevin Love. He'll play the backup 5. Played 28 minutes last game. I know Kevin Love's a good point per minute guy. Definitely have interest in him. Kyle Lowry. Also, I played the late slate last night. I have Kyle Lowry. I checked to see what went on in the first quarter. Saw 4 steals for Kyle Lowry. Just my phone, right? Nope. Late slate's over, right? But yeah, Lowry. His minutes are not secure with Josh Richardson available, so that is downside. Now, Nikola Jovic started last game. Played 28 minutes. Jovic is not a bad point per minute guy, but he's very foul prone, right? Last start, he had 5 fouls in 10 minutes, so I'm intrigued by Jovic, but there definitely is some risk. Then Kane went from literally playing big minutes to getting a DNP. So what is Eric Spoelstra cooking over there? Finally, Phoenix, you got Kevin Durant is questionable, and Eric Gordon is also questionable. They're both in. There's really not much here. They're both out. Then I do have interest in Booker for tournaments, a guy that would be the third go-to guy. Beal, Nurkic should look a little bit better. I don't know if I get to anyone else. Metu would start. Now, Bull's been in the rotation, 20 and 19 minutes of the last couple games. I think he would be at least thing if both those guys are out. Bull's not a bad point per minute guy. Maybe not the best real-life player, but not bad for DFS purposes. All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up the video. As always, if you do enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and try to get a prize picks video up after this. And, yeah, I'll see you all in the next one.